Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. This is the debut of the Holocaust. The Holocaust, lest we forget. Brothers and sisters, where's the Holocaust? It's that thing that they've been whitewashing, calling slavery. A big whitewash. That wasn't slavery. Slavery is economic system. Capitalism. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. That was the economic side of it. But the social side of it, interaction, was the Holocaust. Murder, rape, sodomy, and whatever they could think of. 500 years of the Holocaust. It was horror, it was horrific. 24/7, 365. And they want to whitewash it. Oh, that was slavery. No, it was a Holocaust. So we need to get that slavery stuff, put that to bed. Because everything you've been told for the last 500 years is an absolute lie. 100% of it. We have come through 6,000 years of the worst winter in our history. And the last 500 years of it, or 600 years, was the worst of the worst. We suffered unimaginably. There's no comparison anywhere in history what we went through at the hands of these wicked people who call evil good and good evil. The Holocaust. You need to stop calling it slavery. For 500 years, total abject suffering. It took 64 years to prepare us for it. They brought our ancestors here in 1555. It took 64 years to prepare us, to convert us from Kunta Kinte to Toby. From men and women, gods and goddesses, to Negro butts, programmed to self-destruct, programmed to obey massa no matter what, programmed not to think, not to ask questions, to think shit is honey and honey is shit. Yes, there's a clear sign. See, they fed us shitlings. Do you know what shitlings are? That's what it was originally called. What is shitlings? Shitlings is the part that they used to throw away when they slaughtered the hog. That's the intestines, the shit. See? The shit track and everything. You should throw that away. But they say, hey, we're going to throw it away. We're going to feed it to them. And that's what they fed us for 300-400 years. See? And so now you have people eating it and they say, man, this shitlings is good. See what I'm saying? They have you eating shit and you like it. Now you buy it on your own. All they did was change the S to a C. And you buy, oh man, I love them chitlins. And even though you wash it, you see it's shit, you see it floating on the thing, you see the house smelling, everything else, and you still bound with, I gotta have me some chitlins. They did a job on us, brothers and sisters. See? Worst one ever. And they froze our minds. Oh, they froze our minds. You got brothers and sisters now, their minds are so frozen, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. You ever talked to a black Christian lately? Born again one? There's no logic there. No logic whatsoever. You cannot get a logical thought past them, through them, around them, at all. And want to hear it. See, they saved and that's all that matters. You start talking to, they get angry at you. They don't want logic, they don't want reason, because it doesn't enter their mind. So they planted that false religion on their heart. They didn't plant it in their mind because the mind would never have accepted that BS. Because BS is bullshit from start to finish. Do you think these people that gave you that religion know God? What God do they know? It says, know them by their works. They would go, kill, steal, and destroy. Kill, steal, and destroy. So how did they get this country? Did they not steal it? Did they not kill all these people? Did they not bring us over here and destroy us? I brought that attention one of those Christians. Oh, you can't apply that to that. Okay. I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Word of God. But then you say, oh no, you can't apply. See, they don't believe any of it. Kill, steal, and destroy. So those works are the God, the Jesus they tell us about, or is those works of Satan? Because if those are works of Jesus, then what the hell problem they have with Satan? I can't understand it. What are they angry at Satan about? If that's the way God rolls. Genocide, theft, murder, destruction, rape. Look at the icons. Washington and Jefferson. Those guys were pedophiles and rapists and oppressors, but that's their icons. That's their icons. We're supposed to be like them. We're supposed to honor them. And many of you do. And then the most diabolical part of this 500 years are the demons. See, we're going to educate you here, brothers and sisters. This is a no bullshit zone. See, we stop the bullshit here. The most diabolical part of this period were the demons. See, you don't even know what a demon is. See, so we're going to disembowel. We're going to correct you of that. See, a demon is half devil, half man. See, so if you know anything about biology, the male carries the seed. See, so you are what your father is. Forget about all this transgender, all this stuff. You are what your father is, period. Because the seed is alive. The sperm's alive. The egg is not. It's living material, but it's not alive. See? There's nothing in that egg going to change the nature of that sperm. But they can, oh no. You got Farrakhan telling you, hey man, one drop of black blood makes you black. Well, it make you black. It don't make you original. It makes you black tone, skin tone, but it don't make you original. The reason he's saying that because he's a demon himself. Because his father's the devil. Google him. Google his bio, right? And it tell you his father's name, Percival Clark, right? He's a devil. Check something here right quick. This is the debut, so we're going to keep it short, brothers and sisters. So, as a result of rape, unrelenting, right? Constant rape of our women, and it was worse than rape actually, but the constant rape of our women for 400 years produced a race of demons. See, we didn't make the demons, we made the devils, but we didn't make the demons, they made that. That's the most diabolical creation ever. See, because they look like us, walk like us, and talk like us, but they ain't us. But their whole purpose is to deceive us, to keep us divided, to terrorize us. I call them terror butts. You see. And that's a demon. And we're all over the place. We used to call them house Negroes. See. So you see them. They're successful in this reality. They're successful in this reality. Why? Because this is the reality their fathers created. So they're successful in it, right? I mean, if you're a fish, you're going to be successful in the ocean. Right? You want to be successful in the desert. See, so they're all over the place. Sports, Hollywood, right? News media, rich and famous. See, that's them. That's not us. And they love massa. See, so we're going to go into that more in detail in another session because this is debut, so I intend to, we're going to have a talk with you every Saturday, and we're trying to schedule it around about 1 o'clock every Saturday between 12 and 1, right? And we're going to educate you, those that are capable of being educated. See, because now it's time to thaw you out. That winter's over. Now when it's spring thaw. See, and their time is over. Because the Holocaust will lead to the apocalypse. But those demons are diabolical. See? Because they're terrorizing our community, right? They're giving us a bad image. See? And it's not just them. See? Because you got this false Israel thing, right? That's another connection. See? Because, okay, let me back up here a little bit, brothers and sisters. I was talking to this person, right, and I was telling about Martin Luther King. I'm not a Martin Luther King fan, and I'm pretty sure he's a demon. Anyway, he went to see Elijah Muhammad. We got a picture. And then after seeing Elijah Muhammad, he immediately went and gave this Promised Land speech where they told him not to give. And then next day blew his brains out. Now, what's the Promised Land speech? It's the Abrahamic covenant that this person refused to acknowledge also. It's in so-called Old Testament and the so-called New Testament. And it goes something like this. Your seed, talking to Abraham, right? They called him Abram at the time. Your seed will be a stranger and sojourn, temporary, in a land that is not theirs, and be oppressed and afflicted for 400 years. See? And after that 400 years, right, God's talking to Abram now, I will come and I will punish that nation. Now remember, he punished the nation, not individuals, punished that nation, right? And you will go out with great wealth, right, back to your land. Because remember, we're sojourning, we're going to be here temporarily. 20 years. That's the Abrahamic covenant. Now, the false Israel said it happened to them. They're claiming that now, but they didn't tell Jesus that 2,000 years ago. Because 2,000 years ago, when he said, the truth shall make you free, they said, hey, we ain't never been in prison by anybody. And that was supposed to happen 4,000 years, or 2,000 years earlier from Jesus' time. They said, that ain't never happened to us. And Jesus acknowledged that. But all of a sudden, that's them. Because we have the proof. Because Elijah Muhammad came and announced that we are a true seed of Abraham, and that caused a big problem. Because we had the truth. Because everybody else was claiming, the Sunnis, the Arab Sunnis, they say they're seed of Abraham, which they are, but from Ishmael. False Israel was claiming they're true seed of Abraham. And then you had the Europeans claiming they're the spiritual seed of Abraham. So why is everybody claiming to be the seed of Abraham? I mean, just think about that one for a minute. Because all this world politics, all this so-called false reality and everything is based on that idea that these people, we're not going to connect all the dots here today, but, this whole thing about taking America, because the spiritual seed of Abraham, Europeans, they thought this was a part of that prophecy because they come here and they called America the Promised Land. See, because that was the Promised Land Abraham's speech. We will return, that's the Promised Land. That's why they call it the Promised Land speech Martin Luther King gave. So, they said, well, that was the Promised Land. See, this is a sealed Bible. And then bring us over here, that's according to God's will too, because Noah's son, Shem, was cursed, right? Because he did some immoral act according to them. And so his son, Ham, was cursed, and all his seed forever to be slaves to the rest of Noah's children, which were all white, because we was cursed black. See, that one would that someone's cursed black, and that's how we black people came to be. Because Adam and Eve was supposed to be white, right? So the question is, where do we come from? So that's what the story is. So we was born to be slaves. So bringing us over here was according to God's will. Taking America was a promised land. So that was the spiritual seed of Abraham's virgin Europeans, right? And then false Israel version is, well, part of it is return. See, we return back to the land, right? But they forget about the 40-year part. See, so their return was proof that they were seed Abraham because they went back in 1948. See, so that's their goal. That's their thing. See, but that's identity theft. But the problem with their problem is this. Their problem is that if you fake, you don't want the real thing to show up because then it will show that you fake. Because when you fake and nobody never seen a real thing, then they have to go with it. But once you put the real next to the fake is showing itself to be fake. It's obvious. Oh man, that ain't the real thing. Man, I see the real thing, and I see obviously that's a fake. See, so they had to go to. So the only thing you do is you don't want the real thing to show up, and if it does show up, you want it so marred, so messed up that nobody would accept that it's the real thing. See, because once they accept the real thing, then you're in trouble. So that's why they control Hollywood and all these different things. They control our image. They control our image forever. That's why they have it on TV looking like pimps, hoes, stummies, stupid, right? See, drug dealers, drug addicts. Because they got an image so marred. And who they using to do it? They're using demons to do it. Terror butts. They're using them to do it. Those ain't our people. Our people wouldn't do stuff like that, make us look so stupid. I mean, I was approached myself. I was approached myself many years ago, right? Would you want to be on TV? See? So I don't have no proof. So you can accept and reject. I don't lie. I'm just telling you. No, I didn't tape record it. But he asked me. He says, it was in regards to that whole stupid things. I never watched that stuff anyway. JJ or whatever. You can be like Jay. Who the hell is JJ? Good Times or something like that there, whatever. Because I checked it out. I says, why would I want to do that? Well, you make a lot of money. I said, be a clown and make my people look stupid? Yeah, but you're going to make a lot of money. I said, so what? Yeah, but you can use that money to help your people. Oh, I'm going to shit on my people, and then I'm going to have enough money to wash it off? Are you serious? I told him, man, to get the out of here in my face. You see? See, I was approached. So I'm just saying, they use the demons to do that. So they got an image so marred that when we step up and say we the true seed of Abraham because we got the proof. Man, them people, are you kidding me? God, them can't be God's people. Man, look at how ignorant they stupid they are. They stupid. They don't think. They don't learn anything. All they want to watch the NBA and NFL, right? You see? You see the connection? So that's false Israel. And then you got the Sunnis, right? Arab Sunnis. They got the claim, they have a legitimate claim, they just don't have the inheritance. Because the inheritance went to Abraham's son through Sarah, his wife. See, Ishmael came through his maid, but God gave the inheritance. He blessed Isaac, the one through Abraham's wife, Sarah. See, so that's the whole story of Joseph. So, you got to, we're talking about once you understand, once you break the sets, the Bible's under veil, and it would be, the veil be lifted when Suleiman will come and break the 7 seals, and then he will lift the veil and show what it really means. So you can't get around that, but some of you do, y'all, man. Well, Jesus got rid of that, and then he told you whatever. Anyway, that story of Joseph, I'm not going to go into detail about that, but the main is they betrayed us into this slavery situation, this Holocaust. See, because they knew we was inheritors, but he was old. I mean, he got a claim. He got an argument. He says he's the oldest son, and normally the oldest son gets the inheritance. But he wasn't the one that was blessed to get it. And so he was angry about it. So he portrays us in slavery. And there's a lot of details about that, but I'm not going to go into it right here. But anyway, so now they have control of the land. They have control of our language. They have control of our holy sites. They have control of all of it. And that's their claim. See, we got control of it. It must be us. It must be us. And then they come over here to make, they betrayed us. They thought we weren't going to survive this situation. And then we did. Now they come over here trying to remove the whole idea that the inheritance is really ours. And then pay Farrakhan to promote that thing, because Farrakhan, the whole idea. So you don't understand this, brothers and sisters. I mean, I'm only talking to brothers and sisters that still got a brain, that, the brain's stored out enough they can read logical and rational. Because these people in religion are not rational. They're not logical. Right? But Master Farad Muhammad, those of you aware of that, see, you read Exodus. Exodus, he would come, he'd raise up Moses or Elijah, right? And then Elijah would go for about 40 some years, and then Aaron would follow him for 40 some years, but he would deceive the people, trick the people, and lead all the people that followed him into destruction. And then come Joshua, the same name as Jesus, he was the one to take you home. You see. So, and again, they don't want you to go along with that either, right? Okay, so Farrakhan is telling you that we're not going anywhere. Now that's the whole reason why Master Muhammad came in to begin with, to tell us we're going home, and that's the whole purpose. That was the bottom line of Elijah Muhammad's message for 40 some years, that we were going home. He said we're a fool, and we have the tapes. We're not talking about transcripts. He was saying we'd be fools to want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. But Farrakhan said we're not going anywhere, because that's what everybody wants to hear. Because he answers, that's what everybody, that's what spiritual seed of Abraham wants to hear, the Europeans. That's what false Israel wants to hear, right? And that's what the Sunnis want to hear. He's getting them everything. He's against false Israel. He's against Satan. Bullshit. He got that when you're an undercover agent, you got to have some legitimacy. So they got to give you something. You got to give you somebody you can punch or beat up or something, so you can look like you're legitimate. So they said, well, pick on them. See, but he loves everybody. He loves the Europeans, but he just hates the Satan, the satanic ones. And you buying that. See, he loves the Arabs. He wants you to be Sunni. But we ain't going anywhere. We're gonna get 6 states here that you never prepared anybody for. If you ask for economic money for 40 some years, have you seen economics anywhere? See, that's the game, brother and sister. Everybody's against you. And they want to keep it that way. See? And that's what's going to lead to the apocalypse that we're going to talk in maybe in the next session. Because we're in an apocalypse now. We're in the open phases of it. It just haven't got to the kinetic part. But that's going to be in a few more days. Oh, this year is going to be a year you're never going to forget. And let me go back step back a minute. You remember I was talking about, the 40 years. Well, that officially started in 1619. See, now they're trying to get that out of your mind, because this so-called CRT, right? Critical race theory. It wasn't a theory. But they're trying to change that. Well, it wasn't 1619. Because when did all this stuff happen? It happened in 2020. All this stuff broke out. Why? Because they're trying to get out from under this thing. Because that was absolute proof. No ifs, ands about it, right? Absolute proof that we're true to Abraham. Because that's where Elijah Muhammad mentioned it. When he mentioned it in the 30s, they had to counter it, and that's why I said false Israel to counter that. But anyway, get back to this. 1619 to 2019, that's 40 years. And it says, read Exodus, and then it would initiate, the whole process would initiate, it would be a series of 10 plagues. The first one, right? The first one would be a plague that would kill the firstborn. That's the elderly. And then it would pass over the original people. And that's exactly what happened. That they came in exactly right on time. And it's killing the elderly. But they was telling you it's killing you. All you got to do is Google everything I tell you. You can back check. Go and Google the World Health Organization. And they put out a paper about a month or so ago saying that, well, it's probably 2 months now, maybe a little longer. But they put out a paper saying that it was not, this so-called plague was not affecting Black Africa or Haiti or any so-called African countries, but somehow it was affecting us, which they don't talk about anymore because it was a lie. It might affect the demons, the lookalikes, the wolves in sheep clothing, the chaff that was sown amongst the wheat, but it wasn't killing us. I'm 73 years old, and I've never got it. And you didn't say you couldn't get it, it's going to kill you. I never even got it. And I ain't wearing masks and all that stuff either. And I've been telling you for years. And so when that came in, they knew what it meant. And so now they're on cleanup mode, correction mode. See, and now they trying. You got two agendas, two class of thought here. One is to try to talk their way out of this thing. The other one is just get rid of you altogether. And both of them in process. The one to get you all together, that's under the radar. It says let's deal with them shrewdly. That means without you knowing what's going on. See, and I'm gonna reveal some of this to you. I have been revealing it, what's going on in the background, but in the foreground, right? Oh, we want to give you reparations now. We want to give you all this stuff. We go nice. Like, oh man, they're so nice to us now. See, they're trying to trick you out of your inheritance. That's a whole nother story together. They're trying to switcheroo on you. Because if they can get you to accept some other payment for what they did to you, turn a criminal suit into a civil suit, right? Then they can get their ass off the hook. At least that's what they think. You see? Because now they're telling you stuff like, man, why are you going to hold us responsible for what our ancestors did? See, that's bullshit. Their own law, it goes against that. Because there's no statute of limitations for you that don't know what statute of limitations mean. That means that some crimes, if you don't process it within a certain period of time, then it goes away. So in other words, if you go and steal an apple, and they don't process it, they don't catch you for 5 years or something like that, right? Then they can't prosecute you for it. That's statute of limitations. But there's no statute of limitation on rape, murder, kidnapping. And America is a corporation. You understand that America's a corporation. You must be able to understand that America is a corporation. So a corporation responsible for everything is done. And being a democracy, that underscores the whole thing because you're responsible for whatever your government do. If you participate in that democracy, you're responsible for everything your government does. But they try to say, oh man, well, my ancestor did it. No, that's why I said pay attention to that every hand become it. It's going to punch that nation. That means if it can punch that nation for what they did, that means everybody in that nation. So they can't watch and say, well, that happened. Well, okay, if that happened, if your fathers did that was so evil, then why don't you get the land back to the Indians that you took it from, the so-called Indians, and to pack up and go back to Europe? Why are you going to eat from the tree that you say is so wicked? Why are you eating from the fruit of the tree that you say is so wicked? See, because you're enjoying the fruits of it, but you say, well, I had nothing to do with it. And your own law don't accept that. Because if you take and accept ill-begotten property, illegal or whatever, right? You still, right? Illegitimate got properties that you got illegitimately from robbing or whatever, right? And you receive it, and you give it to someone, they receive it, and they know where you got it from. They know how you got it. They're just as guilty as you are according to your own law. And Europeans, America's going to be judged according to its own law. You better get that. No, it's going to be judged according to its own law. See? Because as soon as they arrest you and pick you up, what they say? Let me see a rap sheet. Let me see a rap sheet. Ain't that what they say, brother? Let me see a rap sheet. Oh, man, you got a rap sheet that long, man. And they judge you not based on the thing that you're doing or what they claim you're doing, but on your rap sheet. See? And your rap sheet determines how long you're going to spend your ass in jail. or if you get electrocuted or whatever. So what's your rap sheet, America? What's your rap sheet? See, that's why it says there'd be a land of hypocrites. What's your rap sheet? See? You can be judged according to your own laws. And you're in judgment right now, you just don't know it. See, so that was the first of 10 plagues. The 9 plagues actually going to be the war in Europe that's about to happen. We ain't talking about this Ukraine thing. That's wars and rumors of wars. That's classified as wars and rumors of wars. No, the war that's going to kick off Armageddon, and Armageddon is Europe. Is war. It's like the Third World War, because like the Second World War was pretty much the war between Europeans. I mean, Japan got all that kind of stuff. But the third war, Armageddon is the so-called Third World War, where it's going to be a war between Europeans. That's Armageddon, and that's the 9 plagues. See, because they're going to get to fighting with each other, but it's going to break out in the Middle East. The impending war with Iran, where it's about to take off any day now. It's going to happen this year, and that's going to kick off the war in Europe. See, which is going to be devastating. See, and the result is that it's going to elevate China and India to superpower status. See, and then that's another war. So I'm not going into that kind of detail, but Armageddon is just one phase of apocalypse. The apocalypse is the great war. Who's going to control the universe? Who's going to control the creation? Who's going to control the planet? See. But you are the creators, and you don't know it. But again, like I was saying, brothers and sisters, you've been lied to from A to Z, right? Ever since you've been here. It took 64 years to transform you into a Negro butt. The first Negro bus came off the assembly line in 1619. Fully programmed to self-destruct, to obey master no matter what, not to ask any questions, just do whatever you're told. First ones. See? Certified, stamped, branded. See? Toby Richardson. See, when it Kunta Kinte come out, Toby Richardson. And that was not a last name. I keep telling that brother and sister, that was not a last name. That was a branding, because you was given the name of your master, so they would know who you belong to. So if you was Toby Richardson and you was sold out to Blackstone, your name became Toby Blackstone. And names you walk around with right now are just an indication of the last slave master or the last horror cost master, right, that you was owned by. And many still walk around proudly with those names. Now, if you're a demon, that is your name. And it says, because of incessant, unrelenting rape, they says half of the black people in America, is approximately 34 million, half of it, 17 million, are demons. It's like a checkerboard. You got white squares and black squares, and between every each black square is surrounded by white squares that separates from other black squares. And that's our situation, because we're separated and we're terrorized and we don't know each other, right? And we see our images, so we start hating each other. But that's not us. That's our skin folk. And they keep us separated and terrorized, because that's why I call them terror butts. That's their purpose, to terrorize us, to confuse us, right? And keep us divided, just like on a checkerboard. See? And it's hard to detect them. That's why I said you got to watch out for those sheep, the wolves in sheep clothing, or the chaff sowed amongst the wheat. It said the enemy did it. And they had to be grown together, then separated at the end. It's diabolical. It's really bad. And so, brothers and sisters, you're not evil. You're not sinful like Farrakhan's telling you. He's talking about his own people, him and his demons. You're not sinful. You're righteous people. Elijah Muhammad said that. Matt Muhammad said that. The point is you were thrown in a shithole, so you cover with shit, but only a shower would wash that off. Ain't like the demons. They full of shit. A shower will not help them. You're not a wicked people. You're righteous, good people. You've been taught bad and you're acting bad because the information that's coming in is determined your decisions you make. And the information coming into you has been controlled. Totally controlled. You think all this stuff you get, you're free in America, brother and sister, let me disabuse you of that. You're not free in America. You thought you was. First of all, none of these people in America are free, but you ain't never been free. When they let you off the plantation, do you understand? Go and check this stuff out, brother and sister. They was going from they've been in the agricultural. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to unpack here, but I'm not going to try to keep it short. They stayed in the agricultural age for almost 5,500 years. And then they moved into industrial age once they brought us over here. That's a no story all by itself. They moved from agricultural age, which means slave picking, agriculture work, So in the industrial age, right, that's machines and stuff. So they kicked off in the industrial age, beginning industrial age around 1800s. So they saw they wasn't going to need you anymore because they started making machines and things. So they didn't free you, right? They say, well, if they freed you, according to you, because they didn't need you anymore. They basically fired you, but they didn't give you severance pay. They didn't give you 40 acres of mule. They gave you nothing. Just threw you in a damn ditch. You didn't have nothing to eat. You didn't have no place to stay because master threw you off the plantation. So, and you had no to eat. You had no place to stay. How much you gonna feed your children, right? And if you caught on anybody's property, you was a vagrant, and then so forth, they put you in jail on a chain gang. See, if you're walking down the road and you had no job, you're still a vagrant. They don't talk about that period in history. How'd you get through that? See? So they didn't need, they try to make all that evil a virtue. No, they didn't free you because they love you. They didn't want you because they gave you nothing. And all the jobs and skills you had, they made sure you could never apply them because that was really about the economic system. Because now master was taking you, he didn't need you on the farm anymore, so he was sending you to the factories, right, and undercutting the payment, with the salaries of the white folks. Because they was paying them $10 an hour. They say pay you $5 an hour because the slave master, you wouldn't get the money, he was going to get it, and you wasn't going to talk, you wasn't going to back talk anything. And the white folks got mad about that. They said, man, we can't compete with slave labor. That's what the war was all about. And then as soon as the war was over, did they come and love you and treat you and help set you back up? No. Did they let you take you back to your own land? No. You're still right here. And many of you went back to sharecropping because you begged master to get back there, and you was in the same situation you were before. He was just paying you. You were in the exact same situation you were before because you had nothing. Well, can I sharecrop, man? See, because what you gonna do? And then some escaped to the cities, and they found the same situation up there, pretty much. See, so they're lying to you. And then they right away, they went step guilds and apprenticeships and unions to keep you out of those jobs that you might have had skills in. So that's the truth of it. See. So ask yourself a question, brothers and sisters. If you back in chains, right? Now they got some stuff out there probably gone by now. Even Oprah, I'm not an Oprah fan because she's a demon herself, but she has a thing about the slave letters. They talk about this stuff, right? They gave you one pair of shoes a year. Once you ran out that shoes, you could wore barefoot the rest of the year. They ain't kill cold, whatever, right? And you live in an old shanky little red shack that wasn't even a house, right? See. And you wasn't getting married, all that stuff. That's BS. That's TV stuff. They ain't allowed to get married because the thing is, if you got married, if they found out, because if you was a black woman, you was in trouble because they was raping you from being a toddler on up. Didn't care. See, and they had the right that says they was the one that took your virginity away, and you only got this chance. Black person only got a chance to sleep with one of them as a incentive. You pick more cotton. Maybe you could sleep with Sarah on the weekend. That's what that was all about. See? And so They gave you transportation to get back out to the fields. And they gave you chitlins to eat. Holocaust. And then what happened? Okay, now say, for instance, Master comes and say, look, boy, they're gonna, they call you, right? Okay, I'm going to pay you now. I'm going to give you money now. See, so I'm going to give you money to buy those shitlings I've been giving you every day. I'm going to give you money to pay for that rent for that shack you've been living in. I'm going to give you money to pay for that transportation to get back to the fields. See? And if you want to sleep with Sarah, right, you got to get a marriage license because we ain't having no fornication around here. You got to get a marriage license. So I got to approve. So would you, in that case, would you consider yourself free? Would you consider yourself free if that's what he did? Would you consider yourself free? Ask that question, brother. I'm waiting. Would you consider yourself free under those circumstances? Would you consider yourself free? Because if you wouldn't, then you ain't free now. Because that's exactly the situation you're in right now. See, you still work for Master. You're doing 9 to 5, which is really 10, 11 hours a day because you got to prepare and everything else, right? And when you're on that job, you do what Master tell you to do it, you get fired. And you don't pay that much, just pay enough, right, to pay for that little apartment that you got. See, Master, it's like a dog, right? Okay, you're poor, the dog gets scraps. You get a little more money, then he might get some dog food. You get a little richer, then he might get some hamburger meat. You get a little more rich, you might get some pork chop. You see what I'm saying? So now you still work on Master's job, right? He get enough money to buy the car to get to the job. Remember the mule to get to the field, right? Get enough money to buy those raggedy ass clothes that you be wearing. Half you don't wear that because you wear clothes cover off your butt and everything else, wearing stupid styles. You see? Oh yeah, they used to get entertainment on the weekend. Remember, on the weekend they let just give you a little something to drink, and then you sit around and sing while they're watching you. See? So now you can watch NFL in the NBA, NFL, with you drinking your little beer that tastes like piss. And now you got no money to buy the chitlins. Or the chitlins. See? And you're still here on the plantation. And they go so far as to call they were working the plant. And you're going to tell me you're free? And you don't see the difference there? And they think you're free? You're still here. You're still under their control. They still put your black ass in jail every time they want to. They blow your brains like George Floyd. See? And you still go for that. And you know why you're going for it? Because the demon's telling you, hey, man, that's the way it goes, man. You can be like us. Because that's the same thing we use in the field. See? Because that's what he used to do. See, those in the house was his children. His black-faced children. Those the ones was in his house. See? You was never going to get in there because he couldn't trust you. He could trust them. Because the only problem they had with him was that he didn't treat him like he treated his white children. That's the only problem they had with Daddy. That's all they wanted. Integration. Remember that one? That's why they want integration. They don't want to separate. They want integration. Accept me, Daddy. See? But they didn't want you in there because you might cut their throat. So they would tell you, hey man, you can be like Jody. If you work hard and keep your nose clean, you can have the American dream. You can be like them. Who works hard in the damn Holocaust, slave? But you work hard and keep your nose clean, you can cheat American dream. You can be like them. You was never going to be like them. You're never going to be like Oprah. You're never going to be like Denzel. You're never going to be like any of them. But that's the hold over your head. You work real hard and you be like them. See? But you piss me off, your ass is going to be in jail forever. Brothers and sisters, I think I'm going to we're going to keep this, yeah. So this is just the debut, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about this in much more detail. And we're going to go into some facts. See, we don't talk about just BS. We talk about facts. We explain everything. See? So it's the big scam. It's a big lie. And so they control your actions because they control the information that comes into your brain. And so you got a good brain. You can calculate, but you can only use the brain information. They got a term like that in computers: garbage in, garbage out. So in other words, if you got bad information coming in, then you can have bad decisions. And they've been controlling your information coming in since you've been here. They've been lying to you about everything. Not just them, the whole world. Like I said, you got spiritually Abraham, that's the ones that enslaved us and gave us Christianity, which is a total brain warp. If Christianity frees your brain like you would, and that, because you tell these people, there's no logic, nothing there. It's just total wipeout. See? So them the one, and they're the ones that gave you religion. And you think those people know God? Like I said, if that's where God rolls, then we're in trouble. Raping, killing, murdering. You know their history. What's your rap sheet? Then you got false Israel identity theft. They got rich. See, these Europeans got rich off us for years. Free labor and everything else that went with it. Right? It says, the whole world will be blessed from your seed. So you don't understand that verse. Well, everybody's getting rich off us. They got rich. America got rich off us. False Israel is getting rich right now off us by using our name, stolen identity, because everybody's blessing them because they claim they're the true seed of Abraham. And that's no story altogether. Well, let me hit on that for a minute. Remember, in the 40s, they was killing those people. They was burning them up. They've been doing it they was hating these people for hundreds, thousands of years. Hate them. They call them Christ killers and everything else. And so they came up with so-called final solution in the 40s. It was literally burning. They called it final solution. They was going to get rid of all of them. And then a minute later, they was loving them. After 1,000 years, they was loving them. All of a sudden, they was loving them. Their asses became honey pots. Everybody was eating the honey. Why? Because Elijah Muhammad said, we're true to Abraham, and they had to counter that. So that's why they put them up to counter what he's saying, because they couldn't have people thinking that we choose Abraham, because that throws their whole thing out of whack. That means they're evil people, because they've been oppressing God's people. So that had to set them up. So now they're getting rich. Right? They say over in false Israel, they say the people in false Israel are the richest people on the planet per capita. Check it out. And why? Because they're getting all these blessings that were supposed to be going to us. See, so they got rich off us. America got rich off us. Then you got the Sunnis, the Arabs, right? They got our land, our culture, our holy sites and everything else, and they're getting rich off our resources. And then China got rich off all the jobs they could have gave to you instead of putting you in jail. Right? And then they're a superpower because all those jobs they sent over there, they destroyed Detroit. Every place where black folks would have some economic control, they destroyed those. Detroit is a basket case now because they sent all those jobs over there instead of training you, but they built prisons for you. And then now AI age, right? And that's another story together. And I'm prove it to you that all that came out of your minds. Now they give all those jobs to India. The ones they can't, they send them over there, they bring them over here and give those jobs. They're all over the place. That you could be doing those jobs, but they put you in prison. So all the world is getting rich off of you, off your identity, while the same false Israel is 24/7 taking and destroying your identity, destroying your image, making you look like a fool and ignorant and everything else, using demons to do it. You got to understand this whole process, brothers and sisters. But it's coming to a halt because your programming. Remember, you was programmed to be a Negro butt. It's about to be short-circuited. When that war take place in the Middle East was about to take place, it's going to short-circuit your programming. Then all of a sudden, you're going to wake up to the reality. That's what they don't want, because they want to maintain status quo. They want to maintain the status quo, maintain things as they are, because everybody's getting rich off of you, and you got nothing. See, you have nothing. And they want you to forget about what they did to you. Just forget. Just do, See? Like I said, there's two trains of thought there. One just get rid of you, and one try to talk their way out of it. That gets that reparation, all that stuff we're going to talk about next time. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? We're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there. See? So let me check something out here. Yeah, we're going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Okay. To my audio audience, thanks for listening. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. Okay. Mm. And to the rest of you brothers and sisters, thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.